Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Miss Mita Lesmiatri Kasar, SSMPD. Thank you, Miss, for taking the time in this proposal simulation. Let me introduce myself. Introducing, I am Intan Rasana, an English education student semester 7 class A at University Muhammadiyah Bogoraya. In this video, I will present the result of my proposal entitled Influence of Spelling Bee Game of Vocabulary Mastery of the 8th grade at SMP Bina Cendekia. In the first capture about introduction, and according to there are several problems in student vocabulary mastery. First, students do not master a lot of vocabulary. 2. Students have difficulty remembering new vocabulary. 3. Students feel bored in learning vocabulary. 4. Students are lack of motivation in learning vocabulary. 5. The teacher does not have variance in teaching vocabulary. 6. The teacher still use the conventional strategy in teaching vocabulary. And last, the teacher are not optimal in using learning media. Next, limitation of the problem. Based of the identification of the problem above, the writer limited the problem in the influence of the spelling bee game on the vocabulary mastery of 8th grade student at SMP Bina Cendekia. And then the formulation of the problem. The formulation of the problem in this study, how is student vocabulary mastery before and after using the 8th grade spelling bee game at SMP Bina Cendekia, and then is there any influence of the spelling bee game on the vocabulary mastery of 8th grade student at SMP Bina Cendekia, and then objective of the research. Based of the formulation of the problem, the main objective of this study is to find out whether the spelling bee game had an effect on student vocabulary mastery, and then significance of the research. For students, the result of the study are expected to improve vocabulary mastery by using the spelling bee game. And then for teacher, this research is expected to be one that can be used as a reference and additional source in the teaching, especially for vocabulary. And then for school, it is hoped that this research can improve the quality for school to become a resource for teaching English. The next second capture about literature review. Concept of vocabulary mastery. Vocabulary, according to Fanciati, increase and healthy state. Vocabulary is the center of language and is very important for typical language learning. Learning vocabulary is a complex process. The student aim to be rich head in learning vocabulary process in primarily their ability to recall the word at will and the recurrence in its spoken and written form. And then vocabulary mastery, according to Michael J. Wellens in Dewey State, vocabulary mastery is the quantity of words to count at listen. Each term of word count, the minimum for SMP is around 1,500 words, while SMA 4,000 words. And next, about concept of spelling bee game. Games can be alternative activity for learning vocabulary. According to Oxford Average Learning Dictionary, a game is an activity that involves people or team competing with each other. And Ray, Betterig, and Babke define play as an activity that is entertaining, interesting, often challenging, and one which learning play and usually interact with other. And then spelling bee, according to Flight in the journal Rokaisti, spelling bee is a competition in which contestants are asked to spell and weight selection of words, usually with varying level of difficulty. And then, according to Merriam-Webster in a chapter from the journal Rokaisti, the purpose of the spelling bee game is to help students improve spelling, increase vocabulary, learn concepts, and develop correct use spell. Next slide about material in teaching vocabulary. There are many material in teaching vocabulary, especially for grade 8 students of SMP Bina Cendekia. The syllabus that use the school curriculum 2013 and the English book that use When English Ring the Bell. This book is divided into 13 chapters. And then review of related finding. First, Chris H. and Netizen 2021, the effect spelling bee game on student vocabulary mastery. Based on the finding, it means that alternative hypotheses, which accept and null hypotheses were rejected. And then Giska Wulan Wageyono 2021, the effect of spelling bee games to student vocabulary mastery. Based on the ratio of these different tests, it be concluded the alternative hypothesis was accepted. Next, conceptual framework. Vocabulary is the basis in English for communicating with others because vocabulary is the first step to understanding the first skill. When students have a limited vocabulary, they will experience difficulty is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. To help students easily remember and memorize new vocabulary, the teacher as facilitator must provide interesting material, teaching aids, and create a good atmosphere in the classroom. The use of game is one of the methods in teaching vocabulary. The game method can make it easier for students to remember new vocabulary and master various skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And then hypothesis. The research hypothesis is a follow. Null hypothesis. There is no significant effect of the spelling bee game on the A grade vocabulary mastery of SMP Bina Cendekia. And then alternative hypothesis. There is a significant effect of the spelling bee game on the vocabulary mastery of the A grade of SMP Bina Cendekia. The next slide, capture about research methodology. Time and place of the research. This research will be conducted at SMP Bina Cendekia, Jalan Raya Geleduk, Barengkok Village, and Lewiliang District, Bogor. This research will be conducted in the first semester of A grade. The research will be carried out during English class hours. And next, population and sample. Population in this study, the population will be student of class 8 SMP Bina Cendekia. The writer select 8 grade student as the population. The total population of class 8 student of SMP Bina Cendekia is 150 people. And then sample in this study, the writer will take the classes of the class 8 SMP Bina Cendekia as sample. The first class 8-1 and second class 8-2 consist of 70 students. Next, research method. This study will use experimental research designed to analyze the written data using quantitative. So, experimental research is an experimental method used to find the effect of variable X on variable Y. The experimental method used pre-test and post-test. The research procedure was carried out by dividing the subject into two groups. And next, data collection technique. First, pre-test. The writer gives a pre-test to obtain data. This is intended to find out how far students understand the meaning of words before being given treatment. 2. Treatment. After giving the pre-test, the writer gave treatment to the experimental group using spelling bee games. The student played the spelling bee game in group, but they performed individual in spelling bee. And the last, post-test. The writer gave a post-test to obtain data, namely to find out how far students understood the meaning of words after treatment. Next, data analysis technique. To analyze the result of the study, the writer followed the step below. First, test validity. Validity means the extent to which the accuracy and measuring instrument in carrying out its measuring function. So, a valid instrument means that the instrument is the right measure instrument for measure an object. In this study, the writer will choose content validity to test the validity of the instrument. And then, tests of reliability. Measurement that have high reliability are referred to as reliable measurement. To further strengthen the result of the calculation, the author will use the KR21 Coder and Richardson formula. And next, test of normality. Before the normality test, the writer must do a test to get an initial score. The data used to calculation the distribution of data. The writer have to accord average score X and standard deviation S. And the last, hypothesis test, t-test, is a statistical analysis technique that can be used to determine whether there is a significant difference between two sample means or not. In this study, the author will use the test method for two groups of data from one sample group. Priority. I think enough for me. That's the presentation of my proposal entitled The Influence of Spelling Bee Game of Vocabulary Mastery of the 8th grade at SMP Bina Cendekia. Thank you to Miss Meitalis Miatis Kashar SSMPD as the guide for writing paper lectures. We have provided opportunity for this proposal simulation. Sorry if there are many mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.